College football playoff, Ohio State overwhelms Oregon to win Rose Bowl and secure a matchup versus Texas. The Buckeyes will face the Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl on January 10. Pasadena, California. Jeremiah Smith caught two of Will Howard's three long touchdown passes during Ohio State's sensational 34-point first half, and the number 6 Buckeyes roared into the college football playoff semifinals with a 41-21 victory over number 1 Oregon in the 111th Rose Bowl game on Wednesday night. Howard passed for 319 yards, Emeka Egbuka also caught a long TD pass, and Travion Henderson made a 66-yard touchdown run in a redemptive Rose Bowl for the Buckeyes, 12-2, CFP number 8 seed, whose big game execution sometimes hasn't matched their formidable talent this season. Ohio State has seized the second chances created by the first 12-team CFP, emphatically blowing out the tournament's number 1 seed. The Buckeyes scored on 6 of their first 7 drives and took a 34-0 lead late in the second quarter on the nation's only remaining unbeaten team in the granddaddy of them all. Ohio State is headed to the Cotton Bowl on January 10 to face number 4 Texas for a berth in the national title game. The Longhorns barely advanced earlier Wednesday, holding off Arizona State 39-31 in a double overtime Peach Bowl. San Gabriel passed for 299 yards and hit Trayshawn Holden for 2 touchdowns for the Ducks, 13-1, CFP number 1 seed, whose dreams of their first national title were flattened on the famed Rose Bowl turf. Oregon's 14-game winning streak also ended. 11 days after routing Tennessee to open the playoff, Ohio State dominated this rematch of these Big Ten teams' regular season thriller, won 32-31 by the Ducks in Eugene on October 12. Smith, the Buckeyes' standout freshman playmaker, had a remarkable bowl debut with 7 receptions for 187 yards, including 5 catches for 161 yards in the first half alone, hauling in scoring passes of 45 and 43 yards. Pasadena, California. Ohio State got its revenge for one of its 2 regular season losses, and it's now headed to the college football playoff semifinal. The 8th-seeded Buckeyes came out with a fast start and never looked back to take down number 1 Oregon in dominant fashion with a 41-21 victory in the Rose Bowl. Wednesday's matchup was billed as the top quarterfinal matchup in the playoff, as many expected it to be a back-and-forth affair with the picturesque backdrop of the California sunset bouncing off the San Gabriel Mountains. Instead, when most of the country finally got the game on their screens after the Peach Bowl went to overtime, the Buckeyes already established control, and it was an Ohio State showcase for much of the first half that became too much for even one of the best teams in the country to overcome. The first play of the game foreshadowed how the night would go, with Will Howard connecting with G. Scott Jr. for a 30-yard gain. 2 plays later, star freshman receiver Jeremiah Smith bolted past the Oregon defense for a 45-yard score to give the Buckeyes a lead they'd never relinquish. Ohio State advances to the playoff semifinal at the Cotton Bowl against number 5 Texas, which defeated Arizona State earlier Wednesday. Sign of success, instant classic at Peach Bowl shows playoffs potential. Smith was shown the granddaddy of them all, who has looked like anything but someone playing their first season of college football. He constantly made highlight-worthy catches past Oregon defenders. Smith already had a career-high 161 receiving yards at halftime, and he finished the night with a 187 receiving yards on 7 catches and 2 touchdowns. His second score, a 43-yard reception that put Ohio State ahead 24-0, effectively put the game officially out of reach early in the second quarter. The win by the Buckeyes means all 3 quarterfinal winners in the college football playoff were teams that played a first-round game. Georgia and Notre Dame will play Thursday in the final quarterfinal at the Sugar Bowl.